The Coast Guard has received a report of a capsized vessel, 02 persons in water. All vessels in the vicinity are requested to keep a sharp lookout, assist if possible, and report all sightings to the Coast Guard. This is Coast Guard Sector Juno, out.
These operations coming off. Stars out. 3, 2, 1. Stars engaged.
We just got a call of 2 persons in the water. Their skiff has overturned, and apparently they called 911 from their cell phone in the water. The last we had heard was they were trying to swim to shore.
Yeah, just want to give you a heads up. It sounds like the troopers just got on scene. Roger that.
The vast Alaskan wilderness. A place where beauty is cloaked by danger. Here, every day, the highly trained men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard risk their lives to save others. America's deadliest waters are protected by Coast Guard Alaska.
We're catching out.
2 people in the water. Time is critical. We can't get out of here soon enough. The area we cover is all the way from Yakutat down to Ketchikan, and then all the way to the Canadian border. So you get somebody in the water, it's like finding a needle in a haystack sometimes, especially with only their head sticking out as the rest of their body's under the water.
We're ready to pick up. Coming up.
We know that there are 2 Alaska State Trooper vessels on scene that are searching what they can. There's also a fixed-wing asset out of Wrangell.
Investigator for the rescue 3-2. We are en route to SAR, and we will let you know as soon as we're up for Juno. Roger.
Our biggest worries are the 2 individuals in the water. Water average temperature is 47 degrees. We're looking at 20 minutes until they're succumbed by hypothermia. So right now, we need to get to them as fast as possible.
Sector Juno, rescue 3-2. We are en route to Level Island for 2 PIW.
Rescue 3-2, be advised, both state troopers are in small boats.
Sector for the rescue 3-2. Roger that. As we get up here, I'll drop the lat long in, and I know I don't need this flight plan anymore trying to get through this crowd.
So it looks like it opens up more on the inside.
In order to get from us to the location is 3 different mountain ranges on 3 different islands. But knowing that there's PIW, we decided to take as many chances as we could to cut down on the time to get over there.
Yeah, Sector, we're approximately 5 mics out from being on scene.
We're coming down to about 150 feet to get below the cloud layer, follow the small little channel as best we can.
We have an estimated last known position when you're ready to copy over.
We are ready.
Be advised that this is an estimated position.
We're not real sure exactly where they're at. Our plan is to overfly the area, fly along the beaches, find out if they've actually made landfall, and just hope that they actually have.
Rescue 3-2, Sector. Persons that are believed to be in the water. One is wearing a red rain suit, and both are wearing life jackets. How copy?
And Sector, that's a good copy and all. Thank you.
So I'm going to head right for the last known position, then we'll start the search.
Roger.
So we got a good report that they were swimming for Level Island. So hopefully, best case scenario, they'd be sitting on the beach, we pick them up, maybe treat them for hypothermia, and get them home safe and sound. But the currents and the winds and everything, they may never make it to shore, and they may be, making their way out to the Gulf of Alaska at that point.
There's Level Island right there. That's the right side, guys.
Roger. So looking for a PIW, a life jacket or something that's going to have a similar float.
We get on scene, we start searching all the myriad little rocks and islands in the area, hoping that they were able to make it ashore.
So there's a fixing hit around 3 o'clock. They're searching that little bay back there. Roger. There's a trooper at 3.
U.S. Coast Guard Sector Juno, this is Wrangell State Trooper.
6032, Roger, we get you safe.
I'm going to work back around Level Island from the east side to the west side.
The troopers decided to follow the tide rips around to Douglas Bay. They're searching over there, we're searching our area.
Yeah, Wrangell Trooper.
Go ahead for the Wrangell Trooper.
Visibility's excellent. I ain't seen a thing. How much time is left?
An hour and 45 minutes. They've been in the water. It's just rocks.
Once we've exhausted all the possible rocks, ledges, islands they could have gotten to, we start our search, drilling the water as best we can.
The whole search area goes completely across this channel from this side to that side.
See a white piece of paper.
Yeah, there's some paper and stuff. There's a blue one over there.
We find a cooler floating in the water, some potential other debris that doesn't look like it's been in the water for very long.
There's another little something right out the door. I get a bad feeling that they are further that way. Tide rips through here. And if they were here and they were trying to swim towards level island, they were going against the tide. They're never going to make it.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is the life jackets.
We had been searching for 2.5 hours at that point. You kind of starting to do the calculations in your head of how long someone can survive in that water.
Sector Juno, State Troopers on 1-6. We located an overturned skiff near Douglas Bay. Stand by for coordinates.
I hear that.
Just after our second hour into searching, the state troopers found an overturned boat. No individuals around it, but the boat did match the description of what we were looking for.
They're down, coming down the left side right now. Yeah, you want to keep searching down this way?
Keep tracking that way if that debris came
We're
up
safe
that way.
and go. Yeah, I think probably a good bet.
Once they find the vessel, that kind of reinvigorates all of us. Now we have a specific location where we need to search, and we start going down current from there.
We got debris down this way.
Looks like
Tackle box or something?
yeah, little ice chest maybe.
Yeah. There's another something out at the 3 o'clock.
Something orange over here to the left.
100 feet.
We're able to pick up other various parts of debris, cooler, maybe like a fuel canister. So it's following a decent track line from the boat.
Level island.
Get to that point where I can't see. Tracks me, I'm coming on.
Roger.
It's starting to get dark, so time is of the essence at this point. So we're just hoping on hope that we see someone waving from the water.
Pushing the water radar for 6. Yep.
Stand by.
Turn back around.
Lo and behold, the flight mech notices somebody in the water. We're in a hover running our rescue checks as soon as possible so we can get the swimmer in the water, hoping that he's all right.
Okay, I got him. Laying on his back.
Seth was the first one to spot him. He had some movement to it that it looked like maybe it was trying to signal us.
He's completely submerged.
But as soon as we had the rotor wash hit it, we could tell immediately that this individual was deceased.
Just have the boat get him. It's right around the corner.
All right, I'm backing off. Roger.
Petersburg AST. I believe we have a person in the water just around the corner from you guys.
Good copy on that, we're en route.
All right, I see them. They're coming.
Roger.
The trooper boat being very close, it's actually faster to vector them in and have them pick him up. And there's the potential that the other individual is still alive and we're still the best search asset.
So if they got them, we'll continue ahead. We'll do a track line right up along the shore there. I hope to God he climbed out.
Maybe the other guy is real close.
After we found the first individual, our main priority is to get looking for the second one as soon as possible. There's a slight glimmer of hope that he might be alive.
So we'll go kind of up to the boat and turn around and just sweep this shoreline.
Roger.
So we'll go kind of up to the boat and just sweep this shoreline.
2 persons in the water. Their skiff has overturned. Up here with the water temperatures being what they are, your life is counted in a matter of minutes. We find the first individual and it's pretty clear he's not moving. He's deceased. We vector the trooper boat in, they recover him, and we head back to the skiff looking for the second individual.
I got the other one. Got him. Down left. Roger. Coming up on your 12 o'clock.
When we were making our way back along the track line, I noticed the second individual.
AST vessel. We got a second PIW.
Copy that, we're en route.
Is he holding something?
Something's tied to him.
Where short?
Pretty much immediately find the second individual. Again, clear that he's deceased. Troopers come and they're able to recover the body.
6032, just want to confirm we're not going to be needed for medical transport.
Negative, we'll transport both. Thank you for your assistance.
32, roger.
Shores, come close.
I think everyone was pretty dejected in the aircraft. It's absolutely not the outcome that any of us wanted.
Damn it. I wonder when they succumb, because we've been on scene for a while.
I don't know, 2 hours in this water's a long time, man.
It is, especially in shorts and a t-shirt.
This case kind of illustrates the dangers of Alaska and how fragile, I guess, life is up here when you're face to face with the elements.
Well, the families will appreciate that we found them.
Yeah.
Individuals don't realize how dangerous this area can be. Things turn bad very quickly up here, and when they do, usually somebody dies from it.
(1915) with onset of symptoms. She needs to be in Kodiak Hospital no later than 23:15.
Received a phone call there was a possible stroke victim 140 miles north of Kodiak Island. We had a 4-hour window to pick up that patient and get her back to Anchorage or back to Kodiak, the 2 higher level trauma care centers where they can actually treat the possible stroke.
Cooper, take off.
Yes, sir, go for it.
Go straight over the bridge. Now to the north. You guys got a lodge, so where we're going to.
Do you know if he's right on the lake?
They weren't very clear about that.
The initial call had come from the individual's husband. The party was in a remote wilderness lodge on the banks of the Alagnak River, very remote area.
I hear this guy's cutting down a landing pad for us with a chainsaw.
That's what I heard, yeah.
I hope the poor guy doesn't cut down his backyard.
Sounds like they're on that lake shore.
That'd
So
be nice.
as long as they can get to a beach, we can hoist to them.
Yeah, that'd be a whole lot easier.
As we were crossing through the mountain range, the fog definitely began to lower into the valleys. We had to alter our flight path a few times so we would stay over ground that we knew was going to be safe.
Some glaciers off the left there. Nothing wrong with enjoying a little scenery on this during the course of your medevac? Nope. No, nothing wrong with that at all. You'll probably make it back for 4.5 hours after symptoms.
Wish we could have done it faster, but we didn't get the call fast enough.
I wouldn't mind a little backup on either the map or the FLIR. I appreciate both of that. Yep, no problem, sir. Coming in visual.
Roger that, sir. I got visual on him.
All right, I want you guys to put a hoist right down on that brand on that dirt road. Okay.
Sounds good. Roger that, sir.
There wasn't any good place to land because the ground was pretty moist. If we would have landed, the wheels would have sunk into the ground, and there was a lot of trees and other hazards to the rotor blades in the area, so we kind of just nixed the whole landing thing, and that's when they decided to lower me down.
Check complete, server's going down. Copy in. Roger, forward right 20, forward right 10, forward right 5, lead forward right, and hold. Server's on deck, making his way over to the ground party.
Once I was on the ground, I walked over, talked to the husband. He walked me over to his wife so I could talk to her, find out her condition, see how she was doing. And by the time I got out there, she seemed pretty stable, so we decided to do a basket recovery.
Ready for pickup signal? Roger. Preparing to take the load. Taking the load.
There was a few things in the area that just made it a little more interesting. We didn't want to hover right over the water because there were some small boats right there that we would have probably impacted. There was some trees in the area, so it wasn't exactly ideal.
Divers in the cabin. Ready for a basket recovery of the rescue swimmer. Basket approaches the cabin door. Basket's in the cabin. Hoist complete.
After I was able to get the survivor and the rescue swimmer back in the helicopter, we decided to get them secured away, get back into forward flight. Ed started taking care of her, checking her pulse and all of her different signs.
Weather in Kodiak's getting worse. I'm gonna say it sounds like we need a new plan now.
Transiting the scene, we were receiving information from the ODO at Kodiak that the weather in Kodiak was rapidly deteriorating, as were our chances of making it back in a timely manner with a survivor.
Divers in the cabin. Hoist complete.
was a medevac situation about 150 miles to the northwest of Air Station Kodiak. It was an elderly female who was exhibiting stroke-like symptoms, so that was our mission, to get her to a hospital within 4 hours of the initial stroke.
Hey, sir, I'm gonna put her on ICS so I can answer some questions. Okay, sounds good.
I gave her oxygen, and I started to get patient information from her, finding out what was going on with her and if there was anything that I could do to make her more comfortable.
I just kept knocking into things, and I would get kind of giggly, and I was a little mushy-mouthed, I guess.
Weather in Kodiak's getting worse. Sounds like we need a new plan now.
Transiting to scene, we were receiving information from the ODO at Kodiak that the weather in Kodiak was rapidly deteriorating, as were our chances of making it back in a timely manner with a survivor.
We're gonna go to Anchorage. Yeah, we can make it.
We turned around and started heading the way towards Anchorage, and once again, conditions started deteriorating outside.
We're being diverted to go to Homer. Anchor Center 6010, we are going to follow VFR out to Homer.
Finally, right as we were en route to Anchorage, they said, let's go to Homer. And that was the faster, easier way for us to do it, so we were happy to go to Homer.
I think we're back in our happy place here. We'll stay with you and give you updates as we get closer. Thanks so very much for your help.
Once we landed in Homer, Life Flight came, and once they did, I talked to the paramedic on board there, and I passed all my information to him.
Have a good night.
We're gonna treat you like you're sicker than you are, okay?
My name is Linda Branham, and my husband Chris and I own Royal Wolf Lodge in Katmai National Park. Just before dinner, one of our employees came upstairs to ask me a question, and I walked across the room to speak with him, and all of a sudden I started walking very strangely, and I wasn't really in control of my own body, so to speak. Calling the Coast Guard was our only option at that time. There are no roads at our lodge, it's float planes only. Our small single-engine airplanes cannot fly in the dark. Our staff, they took me a short distance to the river. We were on the road and we saw the lights coming, and then I was taken to Providence Hospital and admitted into the ER. I was having small seizures, and so once that was diagnosed, I was put on anti-seizure medication, and that was a good thing because I haven't had a seizure since then. I admire the Alaska Coast Guard, so much. I feel very, very lucky that we have them available. It's a nice feeling to know that if we do need their help, they will be there. And that's the saving grace, really, in a remote area in Alaska.
It's a lovely day for hockey.
I am Lieutenant John Filipowicz. I'm an H-60 pilot here at Air Station Kodiak. I'm out here playing a little hockey today.
What else are you gonna do at Kodiak on a rainy 40-degree day?
We got Chad Eckhart, 65 driver. Tony Lumpkin's down playing goalie, 60 driver. Just a great way to have a little fun, get a little exercise, be a little competitive. I still scored on you. It's a good time. The Kodiak Parks and Rec Department does a great job. They have weekly games for us novice players on Saturdays and Sundays. You get out, have a great workout, we're having a little fun. One of these days it'll go in.
I never skated before in my life, once or twice when I was a kid. One of the things I wanted to do when I came up to Alaska was learn to skate.
Nice stop, Tony, nice stop.
Bought some gear, came on here, and learned the hard way, trial by fire. Just jumped out there and started skating. Now that I've sort of figured out how to stay up most of the time, put some hockey pads on and learn how to be a goalie.
Woo! Where's my defense?
When we're in the plane, we're very professional. We know our roles. out here. It's a good opportunity to kind of take some energy out on each other. Nice job, Tony.
Saving lives and saving goals. It's kind of what I do.
You get that outfield, Mr. Flipwitz?
We looked at the buoys at Dixon Entrance. The wave height was 6 feet and winds were 15 gusts into 20.
Around 2 a.m., we got a call saying there is a medevac off a cruise ship that's about 600 miles south.
Did we get any sleep? Not really. A little bit. Some. No, not much for me either.
Person had kidney failure, so the plan was that they were going to go full speed north and for us to meet them for a first light hoist.
We launch out of here expecting to arrive at the ship by about 4 o'clock.
Cooper, roof takeoff. Roof takeoff. And coming up. Roof takeoff. And coming up.
We got a call saying there is a possible medevac off a cruise ship that's about 600 miles south.
Got us showing up down there at 45 minutes on scene. Then another hour 15 back. Perfect.
Yeah, Rip, do you want to give Ryan the rundown on how you're going to bring him, like, to pull or anything?
I'll try to get him in feet first. Get him up here, and we'll both just kind of walk him in. Okay.
Good thing on this, we had a corpsman. He hadn't been flying with us too long, and he was in there. He was really professional. It's good to have a third set of hands as well as another medical individual.
So Doc said he did want neb treatment regardless?
Kind of depends on what his pulse is doing, and then also if the people on the cruise ship gave him one prior to us picking him up.
He was a known diabetic, and they had administered some insulin too, so that's definitely something you always want to be aware of, because that can just turn on you really fast, and that's a bad situation.
There's that one flip on the radar, probably them.
We picked him up on radar about 25 miles out. We were able to get their speed and course before we took off, so we didn't have to search for him at all.
Coast Guard helicopter, Amsterdam 22.
Amsterdam, good morning. Do you have a specific spot that you usually hoist to on your vessel?
Yes, the Bowser area where we usually do our hoist.
We'll be on scene there in a little over 5 minutes. Do you have any questions at this time, sir?
That's well understood. See you in 5 minutes.
Professional.
The captain was all over it, knew exactly what we were looking for, and was very easy to work with.
Yes, sir. See something. Looking down at 300 feet. Roger. Yep, it's a cruise ship. And these people aren't awake yet. They're about to be. Where exactly do you want to aim for? Probably that front right corner.
When we get to the ship, we're basically looking for a good place to hoist. In this case, the bow is where they wanted us to go.
All right, we're looking good right here. All right, and begin the hoist. Roger, begin the hoist. Burner's going down.
With the cruise ship, you do usually have a pretty large area to hoist. It does make for a nice platform.
Burner's 10 feet off the deck. Good position, good out. Burner's on the deck.
He's going to talk to the providers there, get the pass down, and he did have a radio, and he was able to pass a little information.
Litter's going down.
3-4 from I got the patient ready to go. He's going to be ambulatory. What we're going to do is walk him out, and we're going to set him in the litter.
He's hooking up right here. We're in perfect position. All right, ready for pickup. Try to take the load, taking the load. And litter is off the deck. He's about halfway up.
100 feet.
All right. Yep, there we go.
Once I get the individual in safe, then we just simply go in, pick up the rescue swimmer.
Swimmer just outside cabin door. Swimmer inside. You're clear. And hoist is complete. Yeah, we're ready for flight.
Once I get the individual in safe, I make sure they're stowed, they have flotation, they're comfortable, they're warm, secure the cabin, and then start attending to any medical issues.
They gave him albuterol treatment. His blood sugar's been a little low.
Okay.
Just basically look at the quality of his skin color and temperature. He did have already an IV in place for glucose and a saline lock on his other hand, and then we just monitor him every 5 minutes, blood pressure, pulse.
Are you gonna check his blood sugar again?
I was thinking about doing it just like right before we hand him off.
Okay.
Let's probably get on the Guardian jet. Wonder if this jet's gonna be parked on our ramp or we're gonna have to taxi over.
The patient's going to be transferred to a Guardian jet and flown to Seattle.
Sick right up there. It's not even 5 a.m.
This might kind of dark.
Yeah.
That's going to report ready for approach.
Ready for approach.
My name is Angus Bush.
I live in Tacoma, Washington. My folks came out to visit me, and part of that visit was a cruise to Alaska. The seas were rough, and I was dizzy. I thought I was severely seasick. The doc took the blood test, and he says, "You need dialysis now. We need to get you off the boat." My kidneys completely shut down on me. If I hadn't been rescued, basically I would have gone into heart palpitations, and then the rest of my body would have shut down until basically it became fatal. Now, with the treatment, all my systems are back to normal, back to baseline. I'm basically healthy again, thanks to the guys in the Coast Guard.
Everybody on the dock here, gather around. Since day one, since you came here to the academy, I have been preaching what? Accountability. Accountability. Preaching accountability.
Today we're hanging out with the state troopers going through their cold weather survival school. It's extremely important to be familiar with the type of terrain that we're flying in and dealing with. So being able to go through a course like this is a very good experience, and these guys will get to learn a lot as well as us as well.
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a dangerous training area. Like, you could fall and get hurt. You gotta look out for each other, okay?
My name's Eric Spitzer. I'm a corporal with the Alaska State Troopers. My job here is I'm a wilderness survival instructor. Basically, what our plan for the day is we're going out to a wilderness training site, and we're gonna do a training evolution out there. They're gonna have a bumpy start this morning because we're gonna get out there to the site, and then they're gonna experience a catastrophic failure. The boat's sinking simulated, of course. They're gonna have 60 seconds to abandon ship, don their immersion suits, and survival swim over to our admin site in the training area.
Abandon ship! Abandon ship!
Hustle, hustle, hustle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're done. Get in the water, in the water, in the water. Go, go, go.
Here in Southeast Alaska, we are not in a very forgiving environment. You got to have a good head on your shoulders. You got to know exactly what you're doing when you're stuck in a situation out in the wilderness, whether it be lost after a day of hiking or capsize your boat and you have to swim to shore. It's cold, it's wet, fires are hard to make, shelters are hard to find. You just got to be able to think out the box.
You get over here to shore, and the first thing you do is what step?
Inventory.
Inventory. Get your stuff out, and you should be inventorying your survival kit right now.
All right, so you got quite a bit of duct tape right there already, right on the outside. That's awesome. It's extremely important to figure out a way to use anything you find, because honestly, we come out here and all we've got is that tiny little tin with our survival gear in it. And we've got to just, use the resources out here, whether it be natural resources or trash on the beach. I've got a whole bunch of cotton balls soaked in Vaseline.
Good, good.
A couple trash bags, fishing line.
Yep.
The more creativity that you can demonstrate by the use of what you found, the more points you get. Next thing is each individual on your team is going to make a fire. I'll give you 10 minutes for prep time. Go.
If you bend it like just a little bit and it doesn't break immediately, don't use it. We just want some nice dry stuff.
The reason why we're doing this is because as Alaska State Troopers and as Coast Guard personnel, we are out at the tip of the spear. We are out helping people. We are responding to emergencies. So ultimately, the people who are going to benefit from this is the citizens of Alaska. Working together is crucial.
Report taxi checklist, flight instruments.
We got called in this morning to replace a crew that had been flying all night on a case of 2 individuals stranded somewhere over by Ketchikan.
Chuck, remove. Crew ready for taxi.
Ready for taxi.
The children of the folks that are missing, reported them overdue. They knew generally where they were going and how long they were going to be there, and now that they haven't shown up, it's a pretty good call that they're still out there somewhere and that they're in trouble, or they would have been either made contact with someone or they would be home.
4, takeoff checklist. Cooper, ready for takeoff?
Ready for takeoff.
We found out that the crew last night has been searching all night long, but the weather was so bad that there were some areas that they just weren't able to get into. The visibility was just so poor. So other agencies are searching right now.
Right now, let's give them a tentative ETA of 2100. Zulu.
Roger.
One of our biggest concerns is that up in Alaska, when you're in a cold weather survival situation like this, you don't have a lot of time. They were overdue on their float plan. They were out for 5 days. What if they got in trouble on the first day? And they've been in trouble since then. So you go to start thinking about, well, what kind of gear do they have? Do they have the proper survival gear? Do they have enough food? If they did hit a rock, would they lose all their food? Do they have protection from bears? You know, these are all the things you have to take into account for when somebody goes missing like that.
Tentative ETA of 2100.
We got called in this morning to replace a crew that had been flying all night on a case of 2 individuals stranded somewhere over by Kodiak.
Guys, we're at 200 feet, visibility at least a couple miles.
It's a pretty large search area. The guys that searched last night covered most of it, but due to low ceilings, they weren't able to search everything.
Visibility's good.
Say it opened up nice down here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
There's a couple of surface vessels out there looking, both from the state and from the Coast Guard. And those guys are trying to get into as many areas as they can. But obviously with the helicopter, we're able to get much further up into the small streams. And from what we understand, the couple was in a 20-foot jet boat, so they probably got up into some pretty shallow water that's not accessible from a lot of the search boats.
We're gonna go in through the back way up to Burroughs. The only thing about what I'm about to do is we're gonna have to go under or over one of the sets of power lines.
The issue with power lines is sometimes they can be extremely difficult to see, and they're going to jump up where you're not expecting them. Like in the lower 48, you're always looking for towers, power lines, etc. We can kind of become complacent up here for those sort of things because they're so rare.
That one is probably 500 or 600 feet.
Okay, so there shouldn't be any other logging wires or surprises back in there, right? It's just that one?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
We actually plugged it into our computer so that an alarm would go off when we were within a mile of it, so we all knew where it was. The guys in the back could see it, we could see it, and it just was fortunate that once we got up to it, the cloud layer let up a little bit.
So guys, still about 2 miles out from the power line. What we're looking for right now is the cut where they pick back up. So there's 2 big towers on either side with the wires running across, and then the cuts in the forest where they run in and out. So that's usually the easiest way to see them. So they're basically going to leave the summit on either side of us. You can see how high those are. It basically goes summit to summit.
Oh, gotcha.
Cruise is open, and there's the lines right there, high on the right side, coming across.
Right.
You got them in sight?
In sight. Yeah, let's go above.
Right, coming up and right, I got the towers in sight. We'll go right over top of the towers there.
Roger, sounds good.
Got eyes on the tower. Now directly under us. There's a set that shoots off to the right and goes down. You can see the cut though off at our 3 o'clock.
Roger. And coming all back down here, straight ahead.
All right, that should be it.
From Rescue 3-2, roger, that's a good copy. All right, so they've been located, but they're stranded somewhere, and they're getting ready to pass coordinates.
On our transit down, we got a message from Sector that said that they had actually located the couple, Kodiak Mountain Rescue personnel that were on board a civilian aircraft. They were up searching a couple of areas that they had some local knowledge of where they might be, and they actually overflew them. They had set up a campsite at the base of a waterfall way back up at the head of Burroughs Bay.
And Sector 232, request conditions of survivors and reporting source. Does someone have comms with them via radio?
Sector 232, Sector negative. No communications with them at this time. They were located by the other aircraft in the area, the Cessna. Beyond that, anything else is unknown, over.
The area that we were going into had just recently received a ton of rain. So the river was overflowing into areas where the water usually doesn't flow to. There were a ton of log jams.
They went pretty freaking far up this river.
How they cut up this river?
Everything back here is saturated. It's insane. This is like Jurassic Park. So guys, keep your eyes out. We're pretty much right on top of the position right now. It's pretty good deep water right here. They easily could have brought a boat up here.
Roger, we're both eyes out, Captain Storm.
Cool.
So there's the waterfall. So you did mention a waterfall out there on the 1 o'clock.
So they should be around here somewhere.
Got their boat right there? Inside.
Good landing site over there?
Oh yeah, we can land. I think it's going to be pretty muddy. We'll have to see. But we'll have to see if we sink in too much. Looks like their boat's stuck up at the falls.
All right. Anytime that we come in for a case, if we can, if it's near shore, we always try to land. It's just a much safer regime.
Lights on. Go for ready for approach.
Ready for approach.
How's that LZ looking?
It's looking good if you want to drift to the right.
Look at that, they actually have a little cross up for us there.
They were really smart about knowing that they were in a survival situation and that their primary means of getting out of there was going to be signals because they were not going to have any radio contact. Even by taking all their bright colored clothing and laying them out in a big X in an open area, I'm sure that absolutely helped the search party from the air to the initial finding of them.
Tail wheels on deck, left on deck. This is plenty solid enough for us to land on. All right.
Once I was on the ground and walking over to where the couple had all their survival gear, the very first thing I noticed was, wow, these guys are set up. They got a big old tent. It looks like they were very well prepared for the situation that they were in. Big thing that goes through your head is, well, you know, you've been out in the elements the last couple of days, so you ask if there's any medical emergencies that need to be taken care of prior to anything else. And they both said that they were healthy and fine and in good spirits and happy to see us.
Boat gets swamped? Hit a rock. You hit a rock? Yeah, it slashed the bottom of the boat. We tried to get it off, but no luck. So what can we take?
Hang on 1 second.
One bag. Each is all we're taking.
Roger, good copy.
So because of our weight restrictions, you guys need to take a bag, like your dry bag. So I'd say pack as much stuff in your dry bag as you can. I got a Desert Eagle, 50 AE in there, and then I have a ammo and all that other stuff. How many do you have?
I wanted to bring some firearms on board as well, at which time we pilots agreed to it as long as they were unloaded, and I kept them between my seat and the rescue swimmer seat.
We are responding to a missing skiff that's got 2 people that are overdue. They were both up and walking around and seemed to be in good spirits. Both had smiles on their faces.
We walked, we got up to here, but I swam with the tote, holding on to the tote, the big blue tote. I didn't think I was gonna make it.
We were not going to be able to take all of their gear. Luckily, they had a big fish tote, and we were able to put a lot of their gear in that fish tote, secure it down pretty well, and tie it to a tree, and hopefully they'll be able to go back at a future time and grab that.
Yeah, you guys got each other. You guys are safe. We're gonna get you out of here safe, so. I love you.
The survivors were very lucky considering the situation they were in. The last couple of days, the water levels had risen quite a bit, and because they were able to start a fire and keep warm and have a dry place to stay and keep all their belongings and survival equipment dry, really aided in their survival. It's a whole other world up here in Southeast Alaska. If you're not prepared, the outcome could be devastating.
Dave, you scored away, you good? I'm good to go. They're good to go. You know, they were pretty set up and comfortable over there. And I think we'll be just fine going straight to the airport.
Okay. They're doing great, good spirits, no medical issues whatsoever. They can go to the airport and they'll get picked up there. So that makes our job pretty easy. We're able to retrace our steps out the river, back up over the power lines, and direct into catch.
So did they stay dry throughout the ordeal?
It looks like they were able to get all their gear that they needed to survive off the boat and, you know, set up a camp.
Cool. With low vis, not knowing where they were, though?
Oh, that would have been
That's a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Nice job, everybody.
Right back at you. Take it.
We had a pretty quick transit back to Station Ketchikan. We elected that we didn't really need any emergency medical personnel on scene when we landed. Well, you guys want to undo your belts and come on out? There you go.
Land ahead. All right. Oh, nice. Well, there you go. That's called full circle.
It was definitely great to be able to rescue anybody, and to lend a hand to a fellow retired coastie was great too, and just a good chance to hear some of his stories of different adventures he'd been on, and now we were kind of able to pay him back for some of those things that he'd done in the past. How many days had you been out there?
We went up on the 19th.
It's the 24th today.
And we hit the rock on the 21st.
Okay.
Oh, wow. In the morning.
My name is Kenneth Wright, and this is my wife, Patty Bishop, and I did 16 years in the Navy and 14 in the Coast Guard. I spent 4 hours in the water trying to get out, trying to get the boat off,
right.
And I was just hypothermia setting in. Finally, we got up, put tarps up, we spent the night on the boat.
We're right underneath the falls. The river is changing all the time, so you have to prepare for every eventuality.
We had a game plan. We had plenty of food with us and a tent.
We had to move off that sandbar because the water was rising.
That's where we camped when we first got off, and then the water kept coming up, and I says, we're moving.
Yeah, where did all the rain fall? I mean, obviously you can tell just flying up the river that it's overflowing right now.
It came up probably 6 feet total.
Just since you guys got up there 5 days ago or whatever. There's a plane out actually all night looking for you guys too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all last night and this morning looking for you guys. Had to go back because the weather was just down to the deck. They couldn't do anything.
When I heard the helicopter, it's great.
We both heard it at about the same time, and I looked up and I could see it coming. And when you see that orange coming at you, it's like, thank you, Lord. You know, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We'll be forever grateful.
Yes.
As a search and rescue organization, we are very well trained. However, there's a lot of things that are happening that are completely out of our control. And it's pretty much up to the survivor to be able to take control of that situation. The better prepared you are, like this couple, the better off you're gonna be. It was pretty remarkable.